Plunge issue 4. Joe Hill writing with Stuart Immonen on the art. This is... That's making a confused face at me. Why are you making...
Yeah, does Hell House count as Black Label?
I think technically it is.
It does technically, yeah.
It's
Really?
Black Label is the overall thing, and then Hill House is the specific.
Yeah,
it's like the sub-brand.
Oh man, I never even considered them Black Label.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they say Black Label on them.
Yeah, but it shows how much I pay attention.
Yeah.
Yes, these are
True.
technically Black Label. I mean, I know they're specifically Hell House, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I got confused. It's like, what did I forget to read?
It was a fair segue, as much as I hate to give him credit.
No, that's fine. I just, I don't think of them like that. Hell House is its own thing.
Anyway, so this is we had the stone that they all want. The 4 people who go to get it. Only one is alive now because the others were killed for it.
Minus an eye on top of it.
Yes. And we have the Walkman that reads minds and so on. Basically, we get this idea here that these aliens, which are inside these bodies, which see themselves as one entity, not separate people.
Right.
We see it crawling through their eyes and all that, and through their eye sockets. They want basically the humans to go on a dive for them to basically get their essentially their lifeboat that can take them back out of space. They just want to leave. They claim that they just want to leave, and they'll leave them alone if they do this for them.
So there's an escape hatch, they say, but that escape hatch it's covered with this type of stuff, which then it reminded me of Dollhouse Family, the stuff that could hurt the main creature, right? It's got this weird, like almost Gaelic or Celtic name, but they can't touch it. That's why they need the humans. And then some of the other people who are really pissed about what they did are like, wait, we just watched them have a crew member, crew members tear each other apart.
Yeah, multiple
basically
murders.
just to show.
Yeah.
Well, why are we going to help them?
And immediately the corporate guy's like, hey, the company will pay a high price for these things you've shown us. This is all great stuff. So of course the other characters are going, are absolutely batshit insane and mad at him for this.
Yeah, he out Paul Reiser.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Right?
he's out Paul Reisering. You're right. So basically, they give them this kind of offer, and the captain's like, piss off. No way we're ever doing that for you. And ultimately, it's like, we'll give you a day to decide, kind of thing, and we'll let you go back to your boat because, as they established before, there's giant versions. These creatures that are controlling these people, there's the giant ones in the water that can just tear the boat in half. So if they try to flee or leave on the boat, that's it.
Yeah, because they also the bug creatures, the centipedes, were basically they tried to get the captain of the Derleth to do this, and she wouldn't. And that's where they end up sending her adrift. Yeah. Almost so they would, it would bring more attention.
And that ties back into the start of the story because we saw that the captain adrift separately.
And that we see them infect one of the crew members. It was the doctor on the ship, the nurse, and they try to infect one of the brothers, but it can't. There says that he's unclean.
Yeah, because they basically say that, well, if you're not going to do what we want, we might as well make use of you another way. And they infect the doctor, and he's like, no, you're not talking to me anymore. You're talking to us. You're talking to this entity. But yeah, the other guy, like the sort of he's talking back a lot. He's very angry with this issue. He can't be infected. He spits it back out. It doesn't take. And it turns out later on they talk about the mushroom tea that he made a couple issues ago. It's made whoever drank that like immune to being taken over. So. It's a little bit the thing, a little bit body snatchers. There's a bit of all these things.
I love this book, and the fact that Connor's so quiet means this is the book, and I've never been more wrong. So,
I mean,
this is the book you dropped. Yeah.
Yeah, I Pete, you say, there's only 2 issues left, but I didn't read this one, so it was 3 issues.
Sure.
So it was halfway for me. It was after not really enjoying the last issue that much, and a combination of that and feeling quite disappointed by the back half of Basket Full of Heads with where that went. Made me just feel, and that on top of having 9 other books, one of them being 100 pages this week, I was just like, I'm good.
I mean, that's fair, but this is one of my favorite things I'm reading right now, and it's gonna read so much better in trade.
What's so funny about this to me is that Joe Hill's 2 books are my 2 favorite of the Hill House books still.
Yeah.
Barring the one that was that we didn't read at all. The first. They're probably my least favorite ones, weirdly.
Well, that's a taste thing, obviously, but Here we are.
But they get back to the ship, and they realize that the stuff that they have that's in the vial is going to be worth a lot.
That was the third like gift. That was like this vial of stuff, which turns out that you can find it in like the belt of Jupiter, but you can't find it on Earth. And the corporate guy says you can literally power the entire country for like 100 years with this. You know, this one vial. This would power.
Right. And it's really stable, so they don't have to worry. But if they need to, it will blow up like under the right conditions.
Yeah, because he mentions it's like the most powerful nuke ever potentially, like, in a bottle, and he's like, "Don't drop it." He's like, "No, don't worry, it's completely stable. You'd have to bomb it to turn it into a bomb." Essentially, is what he says.
Yep. And then we get to the captain again. He's like, "No, we got one of these guys." He's like, "What do you mean?" And he goes to the body bag for the body that they found.
Yeah, it's the one that was in
the ship.
Yeah.
And he basically puts it into a headlock and is like, "All right, you're gonna tell us everything you can," which now means that if they're a hive mind, they're well aware of all this already. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think the most interesting stuff for me, outside of obviously talking about this substance and what they can do with it, is that as soon as they get back to the ship, they're all in agreement. No, we're not doing what they want. We're not because they can just kill us afterwards. We have no idea if they really want to go home or if they actually want to like do something malicious to the planet or us or whatever. But they're all in agreement. We're in a bit of a hard place. We don't know exactly what to do. But I love that they're all in unison, except of course the corporate guy who is the odd one out.
Right.
But I love all that debating. For me, like debating once they're in this situation, like I think issue 2, I think it was the one that felt a bit wacky, and it was it added so much so quick. It was like, man, what's going on in this book? Now that we've slowed down, now that we've slowed down, we've got context, and the characters are actually trying to debate what they should do based on what's going on. It's working really well, and I think it's true that this will read even better in trade. Like once you have it all together, and you can just go through it as one story. So
I really enjoy it. Like this is the same feeling I get when I read Brubaker books. Right? You're like, oh yeah, these are all good by themselves as a piece, but when you can sit down and read them all in like almost one sitting, it just makes it flow.
Yeah, because the captain like pulls the corpse out of the body bag, is like talk effer, and the guy like sort of he sort of groans. That's essentially the cliffhanger to the end of the issue, but there is actually one more page, and the reason why I say that page is still the cliffhanger is because this final page doesn't make any sense to us, because it's all in Russian, but it goes to a Russian base, and they're yelling at each other, but they're seeing stuff on the radar, so it's implying that, okay, the Russians
are aware.
Yeah, they're coming. But
because we also got that tidal wave from the first issue.
Yeah.
That really hasn't been explained. And I'm wondering if an explosion that caused from something that they do is what causes that massive tidal wave. And just how it all plays out. But no, I am really enjoying this book. This is definitely my favorite Hell House book.
This is begging for a nice low budget, like straight to Netflix movie adaptation.
Yep. Almost, I don't want to say the lower budget the better, but I don't need this with that sheen. I want it to have a little bit of griminess.
Yeah.
I explained on Twitter as I finished reading this issue, it is a lost John Carpenter movie. Like down to the characters, I feel the captain's Kurt Russell, right? Like,
he kind of
character.
He is. He kind of is.
Yeah. I feel the gruffness there, and just each of the characters. And I did love Basketball of Heads. It didn't quite stick the landing exactly. I still really enjoyed it. But yeah, so far the Hill House books outside of Daphne Byrne, I have liked all to varying degrees. This one's just really up there. This is exactly my kind of jam. So, yeah.
No,
I guess we should rate it.
Yeah, Emma's art's still just good, just to touch on that. I know it's this weird thing where it's been consistent every issue.
When those bugs came out of the dude's mouth,
I know, it looks so good. I
gasped at work, and my coworkers went, "What?" I'm like, "It's something I'm reading. Don't worry about it." Like, I do the same. I've been listening to a show that's an audio drama, and I got to the very last episode, and they revealed something, and I yelled, "Oh, holy shit!" to the other
audio
people.
Drama, you say?
Yeah. It's called side note. It's called The Angel of Vine, and it's produced by Joe Manganiello, and it's a true crime style podcast, but it's a fictional event told through these tapes that a family had found. So the guy that's putting together the podcast,
I got a little bit less interested there when it was the true crime style.
Yeah, so it's done in that style where he he's going over the tapes that have been found from this.
So is it all like
50s
interview
PI.
tapes and stuff?
No, so it's a bit of a reach to how they got there. That he had this like portable. He was really into technology. So Joe Manganiello's character's a character named Hank, who's a police detective. He's well, now he's a private eye. He was always on the Vanguard, so he got like the first like portable recorder that, you know, it had this really thin tape that you could put in your watch, and so it's how they always record him, and when he goes to record people.
Sure.
But he passes away. He wasn't close with his family. His granddaughter and daughter find the tapes, and they tell this guy who's investigating the Angel Levine, who's this Black Dahlia-esque. It's about 5 hours. I went through it this entire week at work, but we get to the final where stuff's revealed, and it's just like, oh man, they went places. I really enjoyed it. So people are listening to this at this point if this doesn't get cut.
I just don't want to hear any complaints about the show being long. Between this and the sports talk and the other book, I don't want any complaints.
Oh,
I mean,
sorry,
those
for
things have added
2 minutes in.
A minute of each thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
rating.
Yeah.
Plunge.
I'm giving this a 9. I really enjoyed it. Slow down a little bit. The art's still top notch.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go quite that high. I'll give it a solid 8. But I'm liking what it's doing. Yeah, so I'm still looking forward to it every month that it comes out.